So, looking towards Apple's normal range, the new iPad 11 or the 11th gen in 2024, what is there to be excited about with this next generation of this iPad? So, with the new iPad Pros about to land in our laps, or maybe they already have landed in your lap, depending on when you're watching this video, what about the other end of the scale? What about the replacement to the 10th generation iPad that we have right here? Will we actually get a replacement in 2024, or will we have to wait a little bit longer? Well, in short, if you want to know we're going to get this released in 2024, at the moment it's sitting at a 50-50 chance, but this could very well change. I am going to be honest here at this stage, we have hardly had any leaks or rumours for an iPad 11 or an 11th generation iPad, indicating that this iPad is even in the works being created. But I know what you're going to ask me next. Well, when is it actually going to be coming? Well, the current 10th generation iPad came out in 2022, and practically it looks identical to an iPad Air 10.9-inch model, except for there were a few small changes. One is, for example, we had the new sort of folio sort of keyboard setup, so that means the port on the back is a little bit different. And talk about ports, we've also got a slower USB-C port as well, and then the other major thing that also got changed was that we got the actual center stage camera, the main sort of front-facing camera. That now was the first time we actually got it horizontal on any iPad whatsoever. The other thing as well to notice, compared to the 9th generation iPad, we got an increase of $130. So when this iPad first came out, it was $449 US, what was a big increase. Even though we got this big price increase, it was still the best-selling iPad in 2023. Now, to work out if we are going to get an 11th generation iPad, it's a bit tricky, especially after recent events what have just happened. So at the Apple Let Loose event, Apple actually just dropped the price of the 10th generation iPad from $449 US all the way down by $100 to $349 US, what respectfully is a really good price for this iPad. Now, by Apple just doing this very recently, it could mean that Apple are wanting to keep this iPad for a bit longer, and it could mean that we might not even see an iPad 11th or 11th generation iPad in 2024. But there again, what I would say is, with the current specs that are in the current iPad 10th generation or the iPad 10, we've only got an A14 chip inside of that, and that chip came out in 2020. This was the same chip that we got in the iPhone 12 models, and Apple don't even sell those anymore brand new on their website. If Apple are going to release an iPad in 2024, I think it needs to have the A15, or personally, I think it should even have the A16 inside of it. Traditionally, in the past, there's been about a 2-generation difference. An example, when this iPad came out, the 10th gen, we actually had the A16 out inside of the iPhones. So it makes sense again that if the new iPhones are going to have the A18 inside of it, then the new 2024 iPad 11 should have at the very least an A16 inside of it. And talking about iPhones and chips like that, let me tell you about today's sponsor. So then guys, just quickly, I want to talk about today's sponsor, and that is from Taurus with their brand new all-in-one O-stand case. What looks like this, and it's absolutely fantastic. And let me tell you why. It features this O-ring at the back, what is a magnetic ring, and as you guessed it, you can use this to use MagSafe accessories with it, including charging up your phone via this case. You can also connect up other MagSafe accessories to it too, but something else to mention, what you may have noticed, the ring is super strong and also thin enough that it fits into, say, a normal phone case. And the case, as you can imagine itself, it's super strong, so any bangs or anything like that, if you did drop your phone, then it's going to be able to withstand those breaks from a reasonable distance. The ring on the back also has other purposes too. As you can see here, you can actually twist it fully around, and you can have it in any position that you want. So this allows you to have it, say, your phone in a portrait mode, or for example in a landscape mode, to watch videos with that too, which is really, really awesome. I actually find this ring really helpful for a bit of extra security. So when I'm actually using my phone, I know I'm not going to drop it anytime soon. That is around my fingers. And then when I'm finished with it, I can just literally just snap it back up, back into the actual case. So overall, this all-in-one O stand for all case is absolutely amazing. Torras insists on originality, with the O stand series being representative of their original stand cases. Their commitment to bring this stand case a more convenient way of using mobile phones to people's lives. And if you want to check out getting your hands on this brand new Torras case, make sure you check out the link details that are in my description of this video to get your hands on one of these cases right now. And with that, it's back to the main video. So for the actual release date for the iPad 11, in my opinion, I think there are two possibilities that are going to play out here. One scenario is that Apple will retain the $350 price mark, and with this it means then that older chips are going to be put inside the iPads going forwards. So with this then, if they are going to stick with that $350 price going forwards forevermore, it's more likely that we will not see a iPad 11 in 2024, that we may see, say, the iPad 11 say about March 2025, but then it will only get an A15 inside of it to keep that $350 price mark. So we will have that bigger gap between the A15 and the A18, but you will still be getting it to that cheaper price. The other scenario that may play out is very similar to what Apple are doing right now with, say, the MacBook Air. With the MacBook Air, you've got the choice of the M3 or you've got the choice of the M2 MacBook Air. There's a $100 price mark difference there, and essentially both these MacBooks are identical except for just the chip inside. Now, what may happen is that Apple may launch a $450 iPad 11, but also retain selling the iPad 10th generation for $350 at the same time. And this could also come out, like I said, at the end of 2024. And if this does happen, I personally believe then we would actually get an A16 inside of it. I don't think it'd be an A15. I think it will be an A16. So with A16, $450, or it would be, you know, like I said, you would get the normal A14 in the iPad 10th generation still being sold alongside it for $350. But for specs for the iPad, what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to talk about that second scenario. So this is with having the A16 inside of it. So let's have a look. So here we go then. So overall, the actual design of this iPad is just going to stay exactly the same compared to the 10th generation. It will be a 10.9-inch LED Retina display, and this will come in at resolution by 1640 by 2360, and it will still be a 60 Hz display. Do not expect anything like ProMotion or anything like this on a baseline iPad. The storage options also most likely are probably going to stay the same, staying at 64 gigabytes and going up to 256 gigabytes as the second option, because at the end of the day, the iPad Air starts at 128 gigabytes now as its standard there. This would actually sort of separate those out a bit more better here. Like I said, with that second scenario, we're expecting an A16 Bionic inside of this with 5G connectivity. It'd just be normal 5G, it wouldn't be Wave or anything like that. 6 gigabytes of RAM inside with this. This is the same amount of RAM that we have with the likes of, say, the iPhone 15 and the 15 Plus have 6 gigabytes of RAM. This will probably be replicated to this iPad 2. The bodies, like I said, it will still be that same aluminium or aluminum body that we've had before. You still get the Touch ID button at the top. There would be no sort of Face ID or anything like that. And there still would be that single camera on the back, so 12 megapixel, and then the same on the front as well, would have a single camera, 12 megapixel, and this will be that center stage camera, what's on the horizontal sort of side. The battery size, again, most likely stay exactly the same at 7,606 milliamps. And then for the baseline price of this model, like I said, to get that A16 inside of it, will start at $449 for the 64 gigabyte version, and then $599 for the 256 gigabyte model. And there we have it, guys. Those are all the specs and everything that we know so far for the iPad 11. Now, I know it's not a lot, but are you excited about it? Is there enough to be excited about it to upgrade, to get yourself that model instead of the iPad 10, for example? Let me know in the comments below. And with that as well, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. And also, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons, please also make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell too. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.